Alright, Kenny, so here's your video. I'll try to get this up before I go to bed tonight. Um, Anyhow, I just wanted to show you the progress you've made here and the changes that are so obvious when you use the front arm more aggressively, and it kind of, it puts you in a different direction now where your lead shoulder will now be elevated and the throwing arm will be down just a little bit longer. So I know you're throwing off the mound here at full speed. This is one of our earlier lessons this year that we did. But look at the difference look at the difference here in your shoulder, your front arm, as we are striding out. I have you in about the same spot. Now, you're not throwing full speed in the top video. That's the one we just did. But look at the difference where your arm is. I mean, it doesn't even have to get up that high, but what a difference it is from down here, creating this kind of a movement as opposed to creating this kind of a movement, which is going to put your body in a much better position and your arm in a better position when you're ready to land your front foot. So when you land the front foot here, look at where your elbow is. It's just a little bit above the shoulder, not too bad. And look at where your elbow is here when you put down. So let's put an angle on that. I'm going to show you the difference here. About 102 there. And here, you're about a 118. Okay, so way too high at the bottom, creating all sorts of shoulder impingement here. Decreasing the amount of space in there for the rotator cuff to actually work and be safe. So much different, right? And now watch what happens when you throw. In the bottom video, you're going to take that arm from that position, you're going to cast it way down low below your ear. So, here's your ear, and look at how low your elbow is. Okay, and now look at the top video. You see where your elbow is? You're about ear height, which is good, and you would even be more than that if you were off the mound, because you would have more of a shoulder tilt like you do when you're on the mound. So even though your shoulders are tilting a little bit because you're on the mound, you're still not getting the elbow near to where it should be. But had you been on the mound in this place, you would have had that elbow up probably, it looks like it's about 110 degrees right now. I can't make the angle from this position, but next week we will. So you see the difference there? You're going to benefit greatly from this because the arm cannot go down in a casting motion like this and get way out in front of your body to throw. That's a lot of torque on the elbow. Now in the top video, you still get out to throw, but your internal rotation is a little earlier. It's still out in front of your face too much, but again, you're not striding out far. In fact, it looks like you're striding across your body. Yeah, it looks like you're definitely striding across your body there. So your front foot should be landing. What's this thing doing? Your front foot should be landing where I can see it, but it's out of the picture because you're landing way across the midline. So that's going to affect how well your hips are going to brace up, how quickly your front hip's going to open up. So your front hip here doesn't really open because you're so far across your body. So that's going to affect how quickly your arm lays back, how much forces get to your chest, right? And when those forces get there later, then the arm lays back later. So anyhow, just so you know that when the when the glove arm gets up, then the throwing arm will not get up as high because it'll even itself out. So what the throwing arm does, the other arm does. What the glove hand does, the throwing hand does. I'm so tired, I can't even speak. But it does the opposite. So you're getting the opposite reaction here. Okay, now let me just show you one thing you can work on here as well this week. I need you to work on flat ground throwing for a little while doing this. But watch what you do when you get your knee up. We need to see some movement forward before you break your hands. So let's shift the weight with a little bit more power, and let's get the weight on the inside part of the foot more so that we can initiate that movement earlier. Because you want to pick your leg up to the normal height eventually. So start doing that. Start picking your knee up a little bit higher. And as you're lifting your knee up, we need to start moving out first, and then we break the hands. So then we pull the glove hand up, and the throwing arm will be even lower. So your throwing arm is up still a little bit too soon because your timing of the weight shift and the handbrake is not at its best. I mean, it could be a little bit better. So we shift the weight, we get the weight out more, we drive harder from the back leg, and that throwing arm will be in a really good spot when you land your front foot, at least a much better spot than it is now. Okay, so work on that this week. Good throwing. A couple of days ago, you throwing pretty hard. It sounded good. So I'm going to get you, on the mound next week, and we'll see what this looks like off the mound, okay? So remember, you got to keep this chin tucked, all right? And we have to drive a little bit sooner from the lower end. And lift that throwing arm. You don't even have to be that extreme. I think we were trying to over-exaggerate, but it doesn't have to go over your chin. The throwing hand just has to get up. Well, take a look here. You got the foot down, right? You got the foot down here. And look at the difference in the glove hand. And look at the difference in the trunk. So the trunk stays vertical. You got the chin pretty close to your belt buckle as compared to this. So you're leaning way too far forward with the face here. You've got the face in a much better position. The trunk is vertical, ready to go. And this, the bottom picture, the trunk is already going. So look at how the elbow here has to turn out away from the body and now start rotation. You don't start that rotation here until now. Okay, so your front foot is down here, and look at where your arm is as compared to here. All right, much different. So here's early rotation, all right, and more strain on the arm when you early rotate. Less power gets converted to the arm, so the arm has to overcompensate. And in this video, because the throwing arm is up, because the glove arm is up holding it, it helps you delay shoulder rotation because now you have to come down first and then it goes behind the back. So what a difference, right? So here you are at foot plant and here you are at foot plant. Okay? I've got all your shoulder here I can see. I can see your whole glove side. I can't believe this machine is not working. This is aggravating me. But there's your glove hand side. Look at that shoulder, and here's your glove hand side. Can barely see your shoulder, and your elbow's almost gone. All right, so big improvements, right? Just by making one simple change. All right, we'll work on it again next week.